Hi, this is Trey Pastor. I'm going to do another reaction to Mr. Nightmare, who I love. Okay, this one is called 3 True Scary Stories to Keep You Up at Night. Sounds ominous, so I'll be back with my reaction video. Wait a minute, I'll be right back. Okay, let me put my headphones in. Okay, here we go right now. Go. True Scary Stories. Story 1.
My friend Keith has an uncle with dementia. Long story short, his uncle usually lives with his grandma, but she was in Florida with some church group for the week, and Keith was going on a business trip, so while he was gone, he hired me to house sit. This included watching after and taking care of his uncle.
Okay.
I'll call him Uncle Nick.
Okay.
Keith would only be gone for 2 days. On the first day of my house sitting, I mostly just hung out in the backyard reading and tanning, or in the living room watching TV.
Okay.
I cooked twice. Each time I made extra food for Uncle Nick, but I never saw him come out of his room upstairs.
Okay.
I went up to knock on his door lightly and tell him I made food. I heard a grunting noise on the other side of the door. I assumed that was his way of acknowledging me. I never actually met his uncle. Oddly enough, we weren't introduced when Keith hired me for this little job.
That's weird.
Uncle Nick was fully aware of my being there. At least that's what Keith said.
Okay.
He never left his room to eat while I was in the living room, so I went up to Keith's spare room for the night. I left the door cracked open so I could listen, and I eventually heard a door down the hall opening and unsettlingly quick and heavy footsteps moving down the hall and down the stairs. Seconds later, I heard the same footsteps rush back up the stairs and back to the room.
Okay.
Then the door slammed shut. It was honestly a little unnerving. Hard to explain, just the intensity of his footsteps.
Yeah.
Like he was avoiding me or something. The next day was pretty similar to the first. I made 2 meals and left the food on the counter for Uncle Nick both times. When I was laying in the backyard again, I came back in to see the plate was empty. So I guess he was really avoiding me.
Okay.
I went back out to tan some more, and when I thought about it, I looked up to the bedroom Nick was staying at, and there he was, looking at me through the window. I think when he noticed me, he ducked down. I felt so uncomfortable that I folded up the blanket and went back inside and up to the spare bedroom. It was okay. One more night of this and I'd be home. I made dinner that night and left him another plate. As I walked up to the spare bedroom, I noticed his bedroom door was open now.
Uh-oh.
First time I'd seen that. Maybe he was becoming less shy. I went to brush my teeth and go to my room for the rest of the night to give him his space. I was having a rough time sleeping though. I just wasn't tired at all. While laying there in the dark, I heard a short creaking sound coming from inside the room, even over the noise of the fan next to me.
Oh boy.
I sat up and looked around, still able to slightly see in the dark room.
Oh boy.
I didn't see anything. More specifically, I didn't see Uncle Nick. I was getting paranoid, honestly. Why was I becoming so creeped out by him? I lay back down on my side, facing the wall next to the bed. I ignored the little sounds I thought I was hearing in my head for the most part. But when I heard a very faint groan, I sat up and turned off the fan to listen. I heard breathing. I turned to the far right side of the room by the desk, and there he was.
Oh, Jesus.
Sitting on the desk chair, turned to me. I screamed in fear, and he came up to me going shh and covered my mouth with his hand. In the moment, I thought he was trying to suffocate me, so I pushed him off of me and ran to the nearest bathroom to lock the door. I listened as I heard his manic footsteps rush back to his room and slam the door.
Jesus.
My heart was pounding inside my chest. I called Keith and told him about it. He sounded like he wasn't even that shocked. That's the scary thing. He told me it's best I sleep in the bathroom with the door locked.
What?
And when he said that, it said to me that his Uncle Nick is potentially dangerous.
Duh.
Which scares me even more. I slept maybe 3 hours max that night on the bathroom floor.
Jesus.
And in the morning, I quickly packed my backpack and waited out in the backyard for Keith to return. He paid me extra for what I had to deal with.
Jesus.
I suggested he get his uncle some serious help, because I think he has more than dementia, and I still don't know what his intentions were.
You know what his intention was. Story 2.
My dad once told us a true scary story of his from when he was in his 20s. When he was still living with my grandparents, he lived next door to this older couple in their 60s. One winter, the wife Margie next door went missing.
Jesus.
The husband knocked on their door and asked my grandparents if they'd seen her, but unfortunately they hadn't. No one had, apparently. A few days later, my dad was out at the park playing football with friends. That's when it started to snow. They played in the snow for a while until it got to be too much. Then they all went their separate ways back home.
Okay.
When my dad got home, he realized his parents were gone. My dad started the fireplace and went to his room, which was adjacent to the living room, to throw his stuff on his bed.
Okay.
Then he went to take a warm shower. When he got out from the shower, he thought he heard humming from the living room outside the bathroom.
Oh, Jesus.
He opened the door a crack in his towel and said, "Mom?" The humming stopped, but a creaking sound continued. My dad threw on his clothes in the bathroom and walked out into the living room. There in my grandpa's old rocking sofa chair was Margie from next door. She looked straight at my dad and said, "It was so cold, I needed to get warm."
Oh.
My dad ran next door to get the husband.
Okay.
But when the two of them returned to the living room, the sofa chair was empty
Oh.
and Margie was gone. The two of them searched the whole house together, calling her name, but she wasn't there. Now, this much of the story was enough to creep me out already when my dad told it to
Okay.
us. But it didn't end there, and the really scary part didn't happen until the next day, when Margie's dead body was found in the man next door's crawl space,
Jesus.
where she apparently tripped and sliced her head open on a sharp object.
Oh.
He only found her because the smell became so unbearable he smelt it from the garage.
Jesus.
The thing is, the body was deemed to have been dead for at least 3 days, yet my dad saw her in the living room just the day before.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, my dad believes he saw the ghost of Margie in my grandparents' living room that day. And my dad's not one to make stuff like this up. When he first told us this story when I was 9, let's just say I didn't get much sleep that night.
Maybe it was. Story 3.
There's a lot of Black Lives Matter protesting going on in my area. Now, before I write anything else, I want to disclose that I fully support the Black Lives Matter movement. However, this is my personal opinion that the looting and rioting are not okay, and anyone participating in those acts should not be associated with the peaceful protesters.
Of course.
But unfortunately, mixed in with the peaceful protesters are the looters and rioters hiding in plain sight. A few nights ago, many stores and houses in the town next to mine were broken into and robbed, and a lot of car windows were smashed. There were rumors from the cops in our friend group that our town would be a target the next night. We stayed up a little later than usual the next night for that reason, and while watching a movie together as a family, we had to mute the TV when we heard yells from outside. We checked out the window, and a large group of young men with masks on were parading down the street. They weren't holding protest signs or anything. They were just being loud and, by the sound of it, cursing a lot.
Jeez.
But they didn't appear to be damaging any property, so we went back to our movie. Then after that, my parents went to sleep. I stayed up later in my room playing a video game with the headset on so I could talk to my friends. Eventually, I grew bored and tired and turned the system off and went downstairs to get a glass of water for bed. As I passed the little half stairway to our den on my way to the kitchen, I looked down there and saw something big sitting on the carpet by the window.
Jesus.
I went down the stairs, and when I picked it up, I realized what it was. It was the glass of the window, broken, but all taped up as if to make the glass shattering easier or quieter.
Jesus.
I ran to my parents' room to get my dad. When he saw it, he called the police. The response time was outrageously long. My dad said we were lucky the line wasn't busy, as the 911 calls recently by us have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
When the police came to search the house, it didn't seem anything was stolen or anyone was in the house. They had to respond to another call within 20 minutes, but they said to call back if something else happened. My dad and I opted to sleep in the den for the rest of the night to prevent anything else from happening,
Okay.
so my mom went back upstairs. Time rolled on slowly, but eventually I think my dad fell asleep. A large rift of wind hit me in the face through the opening where glass used to be,
Okay.
causing me to open my eyes and look at the window.
Okay.
No one was out there. but for some reason I thought I heard something come from upstairs.
Jesus.
So I went up the half flight of stairs thinking maybe it was my mom. When I got to the kitchen, I continued to hear noises from above me, so I walked upstairs, and the noises were still coming from above me.
Oh boy.
What else was above? The attic. I went to the upstairs storage room, which had the attic door.
Get a weapon.
I quietly opened it, revealing the short stairway to the attic. This is when the noises stopped. I didn't flick the light switch on. I just tiptoed halfway up the stairs to listen. That's all. The heavy silence was terrifying, considering I knew I was hearing noises from up here just a second ago. I waited on one of the middle steps to hear something. Then I felt the hairs on my head being moved. Someone's fingers started running through the curls in my hair as I heard this deep, short, cackling sound.
Jesus.
I let out a cry for help from my dad, as all the confidence immediately left my body and I was overcome with horror.
Yeah.
I ran out from the attic to meet my dad halfway down at the kitchen. He didn't go up to the attic. He once again called the police instead, while we heard shuffling and thumps from above us.
Jesus.
The cops once again came, and upon entering the attic with their guns drawn, were able to locate someone. They came out of the attic with some creepy old man with a mask on, looking at my family and I and laughing as he walked out. When the cops asked him in the back of the car what he was planning on doing, he simply admitted right away that he's seen all the looting going on the news, that he wanted to join in on the fun.
Jesus.
He made his way to our attic because he said that's where people store their most valuable possessions.
Jesus.
Based on the way the man spoke and acted in general, you could tell he was certifiably insane. He told the cops that he was alone. Oddly enough, he answered all their questions no problem. But once again, this guy clearly had some screws loose or missing entirely. Feeling him brush his hand through my hair like that will probably haunt me for a long time, maybe even life. And one thing is for sure, I don't feel safe going in that attic anymore.
I don't blame you. Jesus Christ, that was creepy. That was creepy. Whew, that was creepy. Whew, those are good stories. I like the first and the first story, like I said, first and the last story were good. Like I said, that first story, come on, with the uncle, come on. Obviously that was a girl, obviously, that was, taking care of not even really taking care of the uncle, just cooking for him, I guess, and not seeing him. But come on, the uncle got dementia and he's hiding in his room. Come on, that's scary and freaky enough as it is. That he don't come out of his room except he sneaks out to grab the meals and then run right back. And then you saw him in your room. Okay, I would have had a heart attack right on the spot. He wake up, he's sitting right there. Come on, I would have had a heart attack right on the spot. Come on, that was insane. Your friend should have, he shouldn't have asked you to do that, especially your uncle with dementia but he didn't, dementia or not. You were a girl, you were somebody, and he was, you can tell he had evil intentions. Come on, that was just obvious. Okay, that was just, so your friend put you in a horrible position until you just sleep in the bathroom. Sleep in the bathroom? I'd have crawled out the window and got out of there, but screw that. I'm gonna stayed in the house. Screw that. That's just insane. Giving you extra money. I'd have gave him an extra foot up the ass. Your friend said, what the hell, you didn't tell me your uncle was is it? Come on. Your uncle, obviously, dementia and stuff, he got mental issues. You should have a professional person there with him. You don't put that off on your friend to take care of your uncle who's obviously has mental issues and obviously looked like he was going to sexually assault or rape and murder your friend. Come on. And then the third story, come on. That was creepy. That was really, really creepy. Just an insane guy decided to take advantage of the looters and come to your house. That was, oh my God, that could have ended really tragically. Oh my God, that's insane. Obviously the guy was insane. That was just, that was crazy. That was crazy. And then the second story with the ghost, with the lady and the ghost. Maybe it was, I don't know. Like I said, I don't believe in ghosts really, but if he saw it, and like I say, your father's not the type of guy that exaggerates stuff. Maybe he did. Maybe him and the husband did see her ghost. Maybe they did see it, or maybe Maybe she died, or maybe the husband killed her after y'all saw her. Maybe that could be it too. That could be maybe the real reason, the real thing that happened, right? That she came in your house. Maybe she was, she was wandering, and then she wandered into your house, and so then she wandered back to the house, and the husband went back and killed her, and then they pretended like he found her in a crawl space. Come on, that could have been it too, other than ghosts, if you want to get real about it. So that could have been that. But again, those, like I said, that third story, like I said, ooh, that just give me the chills. And like I said, that first story, come on, ooh, your friend should have told you. You should have never put that, especially if so. Come on, you're a woman, and you're tanning yourself, and the uncle who won't come out of the room, the spy on you. Come on, obviously he, come on, okay, that's just insane. And then you find him in your room. Come on, your friend should have never put you in that position. Okay, no, you should at least, if he had to go out of town, he should at least had like a male friend, or at least two people, like a man, not just a woman by herself, not to be sexist or anything, but come on, that could have ended really tragically. At least if there was a guy in the house with her or something, he could have helped fend this guy off and stuff. Because dementia or not, he had evil intentions. Okay, he was in that room with you, but well, you were sleeping and stuff, so you never know what he wanted to, eventually what he wanted to do. So that's just insane. Just purely insanity. Anyway, let me know what you think of Mr. Nightmare. I love Mr. Nightmare. There were three creepy stories to keep you up at night. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. Also have links to my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram. Also have a link to my other channel, All Views and Opinions, if you check that out as well. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.